Hi, I'm Ben from Just James and I'm here at Crimson Guitars. I'm going to show you how to get the most out of using a Kaoss pad in line with your guitar. I've got my signature Crimson guitar here with built-in xyMIDipad and also wireless MIDI. It's also got 3 individual effects pedals as well built into it. The Korg Kaoss Pad 3 is a very powerful multi-effects processor. But first things first, it needs to come at the end of the chain. I've seen a lot of people using them. They've plugged their guitar into this, they use all the modulation on it, then they're plugging that into an amplifier, adding distortion, chorus. You don't want to do that. The reason why the Kaoss Pad comes at the end of the effects chain is because if it doesn't, then your amplifier will be changing and distorting an already modulated signal, and that'll make the sound really weak and muddy and really bad. So if you have your Kaoss Pad at the end of the chain, you'll be listening to a much purer, cleaner sound. The good thing about this custom guitar from Crimson Guitars is that it's got its amplifier built into it. With this we have a built-in fuzz, chorus and flange, so we can plug our guitar straight into this Kaoss Pad, and the Kaoss Pad straight into a PA if we wanted. We could DI it straight into the mixer. Or for today, we've got a Fender amplifier with 2 inputs here. It's important to make sure that you have both left and right channel, because you will literally lose half of your audio if you don't have them both plugged in. I recommend getting an amp with 2 inputs if you want to use an amp on stage, or 2 amps that are the same. The Kaoss Pad was originally invented for studio use and DJs, so you have a lot of different inputs and outputs on here. On the back here, we've got 2 phono jacks there for line input, left and right channels, and 2 phono outputs, left and right there. Your left and right as a DJ would be assigned to 2 different decks, so you could use the crossfade on the Kaoss Pad to bring in different sections. And the outputs there we're using today because it's a stereo output. On the front panel we've got a microphone input, a trim wheel, and phones here if you wanted to listen to a mix of this straight from the pad, and volume for those headphones there. Up here you've got your input volume, which applies mainly to the line in. Your effects depth, which by default you'll want to be set to full, otherwise your effects won't go deep enough. Your effects release level, which will change how much it echoes once you've let go of it. The hold button, which remembers exactly the last place you touched it. Your tempo tap for those time sync effects such as your delays, your low frequency oscillators. Auto BPM if you've got a MIDI clock running into it, which we don't. A clever feature called motion pad, where if you did a motion on the pad, you could loop whatever you've just done. If you pressed sample and motion pad again, it would reverse it. It's a fun thing to play with. Mute will completely cut off the desk, so you let go of it again. Then the sample button, you can record 4 different samples from your guitar. On the Kaoss Pad we've got 2 inputs. We've got the microphone input at the front, which is mono, and a stereo input at the back for your line in. Because we're using a mono guitar, we will want to use the mic input at the front. If we do, it should sound something like this. If we use the stereo input on that guitar, on the Kaoss Pad even, it would sound something like this. So you see, by using the different inputs, because this is a mono guitar, we're trying to put it through stereo, you're only getting half the volume out of it. So with a mono guitar, you'll want to use the mic input at the front. If this was a stereo guitar, we'd use it the other way around, because you'd only get half the sound from the mono, but you'd get all the sound from the stereo. So make sure you use the right input for whichever guitar you've got. The Kaoss pad gives out a stereo signal, both in the headphone slot in the front and in the line output at the back. So it's important to use both of those outputs. This amplifier is the perfect example because we've got 2 channels on it, which we've set to left and right. We've set the equaliser, everything to flat. If you have it set to stereo, it should sound like this. But if you took out one of those, for example, you were running it in mono, it would just sound like this. So if you're only getting half the sound again, that runs through with all your low frequency oscillators and your delays, your ping pong stereo delays, and most importantly the synths, because they're the most fun part. You will also only get half the sound out of your guitar as well, because you're only getting one channel. So now we've shown you how to set up and use the Kaoss pad properly. We're going to shoot a separate video on how to get some brilliant sounds out of it. Well, this one.